You've heard the nursery rhyme, good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. And by now you may have heard the news that bed bugs are back. From well-scrubbed bedrooms to well-heeled hotel rooms, they're leaving unsuspecting victims with itchy bites, unsightly welts, and a definite case of the heebie-jeebies. How common are they and how worried should you be? Dennis Murphy has a Dateline hidden camera investigation.
They were on me in the bed.
And I was just clawing away at my skin.
You check into a hotel for a good night's sleep,
I was bitten very much.
never suspecting that you might become room service dinner for a crawly critter. An insect waiting to drink your blood.
I had, welts, and they were all over my legs, my arms.
You've got to believe me.
That's what happened to these two women just months ago in decent American hotels. They were the smorgasbord for bed bugs.
You ever heard of bed bugs other than the old adage?
No, I
Ever
never
seen
did.
one in your life?
No.
None of us had. Bed bugs had been shown the no vacancy sign in the U.S. for nearly 50 years, virtually eradicated. But now, that's all changed.
So, they're back.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in expensive hotels and biting the best of people, huh?
Right.
It's a national problem. The Orkin Pest Control Company says that after 50 years more or less without them, it's now treated bed bugs in all but 3 states. And according to the National Pest Management Association, bed bug complaints have increased 50-fold over the last 5 years. They've popped up in apartments, mansions, or dormitories in nearly every corner of the country. Just a few weeks ago, bed bugs nibbled on the traveling cast of a Broadway musical at this Ramada Plaza in San Francisco. Last summer, a young family vacationing at this 5-star Westin resort in Hollywood, Florida, had the same complaint.
Are bed bugs in cities rather than countryside?
Well, they're in the country as well.
This is like the return of the woolly mammoth to entomologist Deanie Miller, who until very recently had never even seen a live bed bug. She says in the U.S., exterminators and 1950s-era housewives like this one wipe them out.
A good treatment with an insecticide gives long-time protection.
We were just able to spray them with this insecticide, which we used very liberally in those days, and got rid of them, and so they were gone from the United States.
What brought the bed bug back?
Where did they come from?
I don't know.
Experts think the resurgence in bed bugs began with international travel. Bugs hitching rides on suitcases coming out of the Middle East, Europe, Asia, places where they've been thriving all along. And from their new American base, unwary travelers toted them on to other hotels, into their homes. And there's a lot of people out there discovering, once they're in, they're hard to get out.
How many of you in the room have had to control bed bugs this past year? At least
one prominent authority on bed bugs is Dr. Harold Harlan, who was a career bug expert for the military. Harlan was surprised 30 years ago when he came across a few stray bed bugs in a barracks at Fort Dix, New Jersey. He carried them home with him on purpose.
I took them off the wall, but I just wanted to keep them alive and observe them. We were looking at the bite effects on soldiers at the time.
And you have raised the grandchildren, the great-great-grandchildren, down through the generations and begat for 30 years now. How many bugs do you have?
If I had to guess, I'd say around 15,000, 20,000.
He keeps his bugs in jars in his basement. Every now and then, they've ended up in his bed.
And your wife said?
I don't think I want to discuss that.
Keeping bed bugs has obvious drawbacks.
Now, you can't go down to the pet store and get food for them. Well, how do you feed them?
I feed them on myself, my arm, my leg, whatever.
Your blood?
Correct.
And get ready for this. Now it's supper time.
I'll put some on my arm and let them settle in to feed. I hope that they will feed fairly quickly here.
Oh, man. Every human instinct, doctor, is to swipe this critter and smash his little body.
People can have severe allergic reactions to bed bug bites, but generally, bed bugs are not considered a health threat. Even though blood is their meal, they don't spread blood-related illnesses like AIDS or hepatitis. For Dr. Harlan, the itchy red welts last 3 or 4 days.
These other two are filling up fairly quickly.
You know you could have birds or an ant colony.
I've had ant colonies before, and they're not as interesting.
You like these things, don't you?
I think they're very novel. I think they're neat.
Dr. Harlan's novel collection is proving invaluable to researchers. Some of them are using his domestic bed bugs to test against the current crop of bugs coming into the United States. And so far, the news is not good. That bed bug you might find under a hotel mattress isn't easily killed by pesticides available in the U.S.
So essentially what happens is all of the ones that are susceptible to the pesticides die, and these few that are not susceptible survive. They mate with each other and produce babies that are just like themselves.
And they're here in huge numbers.
I think so.
And they're showing up more and more in headlines, on websites, and in angry phone calls to lawyers like Al Ebanks, who went from no bedbug clients to 21 in 1 year.
This is growing at an alarming rate.
One of his clients is this woman, a banker who spends 60 nights a year on the road. In November, she checked into this Crown Plaza in New York's Times Square, into a room costing more than $200 a night. She says in the wee hours of the morning, something woke her up.
I get up, I go into the bathroom, and I see there are bugs on me. Reddish brown, tick-like bugs on me. I go back to the bed, I flip back the covers, and there's bed bugs in my bed.
Lots of them.
Yes. I put my glasses on, the light on. The bed next to me is covered, infested with bugs.
Within days, she says she too was covered with itchy red welts.
Nancy, how does it feel to think you're lying in bed in the middle of the night, $200 a night room, and bugs are chewing on you for dinner?
It's dirty. It's horrific. It's with me now, and I just, from that incident, it's something that I haven't gotten over.
And on this rack?
Last Christmas Eve, this woman checked into the Regency Inn and Suites near New York's Penn Station with her daughter. She paid $159 for a two-bedroom suite just steps away from the Empire State Building. The first morning, she woke up scratching.
I had some itching on my upper thigh area, but what struck my mind was that there was bumps.
The next morning, still more bumps, now swelling terribly and spreading down her arms and legs. As these pictures show in hideous detail, within days she was covered with over 200 huge red sores.
Not once did I ever think that it would be bed bug bites.
So how do you know if you've become dinner for bed bugs? This woman had two of the classic signs. She went to bed fine and woke up itchy. And as her photos show, she had red welts all in a line. Bed bugs walk along blood vessels, sampling as they go. She ended up in the emergency room.
I was terribly upset, looking horrible. I just got so depressed over the whole thing.
The itching lasted nearly a month, and she still has scars. She says she left 3 messages for the hotel manager saying she'd had bed bugs, but nobody ever called her back. Does that mean they'd fixed the problem?
In 418, I think I saw a bed bug.
We'll find out.
418? Yeah.
Returning to our Dateline investigation, bed bug invasions have been reported now in 47 states, from bedrooms to dorm rooms to hotel rooms. Is there something your hotel isn't telling you? To find out, we've packed our bags and our hidden cameras. Here again, Dennis Murphy.
Bed bugs have been with us humans since we lived in caves, and they have fantastic survival skills. They lurk unseen in cracks and crevices for most of the day.
Between about 3 and 5 a.m., something turns on in their little brain, and they become attracted to heat. So heat to them means food. They're looking for human body heat. And part of the mouth part feels around underneath the skin looking for a blood vessel. And then they hit that blood vessel, and it pumps them up full of blood.
All while you sleep. Great, huh?
And then once they're full, they pop the mouth parts out, and they crawl back into a little crack or crevice, and then they'll stay there for a couple days digesting that blood meal.
I can hear people saying, ew.
It sounds kind of disgusting, I have to admit.
Bed bugs can go for over a year without a meal. That makes it nearly impossible to know if you have any. Bed bug eggs are so very small and translucent, they're virtually invisible against a white sheet. And a female can lay 12 eggs in one day.
Children, I hope you sleep tight and don't let the bed bugs bite.
Hotels are ideal hangouts for bed bugs because the guests get bitten and leave. A few days later, there's a new unsuspecting host, dinner, right in the very same bed.
Don't let the bed bugs bite, child.
So could we find any? Armed with an experienced bed bug searcher, entomologist Deanie Miller, we rented rooms in several New York City hotels. Each hotel we went to had reports of bed bugs, information we gleaned from websites, newspaper articles, and lawsuits. The search began.
So, Deanie, here's your $200 a night New York City hotel, huh? Now, look,
Yeah.
what do you, as a business traveler, what do you do to check out the place?
I will start doing a bed bug inspection.
What Deanie knows, and most of the rest of us don't, is that in many hotels, the headboard pops right off.
We want to lift this up?
And behind the headboard is a common hideout for bed bugs.
Why the headboard as opposed to, say, I don't know, the bathroom or the drapes on the window?
If you think about it, the maid comes in every morning, she's changing the sheets, she's manipulating the mattress and that sort of thing, but the headboard doesn't move. And so the bed bugs can get behind there and they're not disturbed.
Deanie checks screw holes, cracks, even staples. She says the most obvious sign of bed bugs is small blackish spots, fecal spots to the experts, that look like either pepper or dried blood. Signs that bed bugs have digested a blood meal and excreted it right out.
Do you see anything obvious?
Nothing obvious here.
We check the mattress seams, the nightstand, the chair, and everything passes muster.
So what do you think?
This room, if I was staying here, I wouldn't have any problem with it.
After visiting 22 hotel rooms,
I don't really
do you see anything?
those, not in here. I would feel okay staying here.
in 7 different hotels, no bed bugs.
We didn't seem to find the infestation. What do you think went on there?
Let's say we go into a hotel that's got 100 rooms, and we've heard there's been a complaint about bed bugs in there. It may be only 1 room or 2 rooms that are affected. If you don't find the one that was initially infested, you may not come across it.
This Times Square hotel had several complaints online about bed bugs and was recently sued for having them.
So, Deanie, into the breach once more, huh?
Yep. This headboard's a little bit older, got a lot of nooks and crannies here, little broken pieces.
But it looks a lot like all the other ones we've seen, doesn't it?
Not so fast.
Let's take a little closer look here. Now, I can't be for sure, but this is the type of spotting that I'm talking about. And see right there?
Yeah.
This is a cast skin from a bed bug.
You're kidding.
Here.
So they've been here in Midtown Manhattan
Right.
and Times Square, huh?
Right, exactly.
You think this
So-
is a hit? This is a find?
Oh, definitely. Most definitely. You can
Deanie
tell
says
from
this
these-
dark spot could be leftovers from a blood meal.
These dark spots, we always ask ourselves if we see something dark, how could that have gotten there? And it just so happens that right here is the shed bed bug skin.
Now, would you suspect that those bed bugs that you found in that headboard had been feeding on guests?
Yes, the fecal spots tells you that they've obviously had some blood in their system.
In this case, it appears hotel management went scurrying for a good exterminator. Along with evidence of bed bugs in several rooms,
See around the frame, this powdery looking stuff?
Deanie finds sign of pesticides, fresh mattresses, and new furniture. Except for the corpses, the rooms we checked here are bug-free. Next, we tried this hotel, moderately priced and near New York's Penn Station, where this woman and her daughter stayed last Christmas, where she says she was eaten alive. We checked into room 418, and there it was, a molted bed bug skin behind the headboard, bloody spots on the back of the picture frame, blood stains and fecal spotting along the mattresses, and the creature himself, plus a small and growing family waiting here under the box spring for a meal. We report what we find to the front desk.
In 418, I think I saw a bed bug.
418?
Yeah, in 418. Have you had them before?
No.
So you've had no other reports of bed bugs?
That's just is the only one.
This is the only one?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, Dateline went back to that same hotel that you stayed in. Guess what we found?
Bed bugs?
And bed bugs haven't checked into just hotels. They're going to college, too.
They said everything. Absolutely everything.
We've heard reports of bed bugs in at least a dozen colleges, from the University of Oklahoma to Loyola in Chicago. Just last week, these students, freshmen at New York's prestigious Columbia University, had to leave their rooms because a room nearby was infested with bed bugs. And they're worried about what other students think.
They assume that I have bed bugs in my room since I'm moving out. And so I'm quick to tell them that I don't have bed bugs, at least I don't know of it.
I guess bed bugs shouldn't really be, like, they shouldn't have quite as much stigma because you don't get them from being dirty and you don't get them from, like, you know, being unhygienic. It's just weird. I feel like I'm defending myself because people are assuming all this stuff now, and that's really hard.
There's no bugs in my room. No, I don't have bugs.
So how do you avoid bringing bed bugs home with you? The experts say check your luggage very carefully if you think you've encountered bed bugs on the road, and steer clear of used mattresses and discarded furniture. Unhappily, if you think you already have bed bugs, contact a reputable exterminator, someone with a lot of experience in dealing with bed bugs. Expect to have several treatments that last a few hours, and be prepared to throw out a lot of your stuff.
It's going to be expensive for hotel managers, for homeowners.
Very expensive, yes.
Columbia University told us the school rarely has a problem, but when it does, the treatment is aggressive. Several of the hotels mentioned in our report wrote us to say that while bed bugs are out there, they are not prevalent. They also say they use exterminators regularly to prevent bed bugs, and in the event bed bugs are discovered, take quick action to eradicate them, including discarding and replacing furniture and linen. The Regency Inn and Suites added that the hotel has heard no complaints about bed bugs.
They're spreading. But
Deanie Miller says we might as well try to get used to bed bugs. Forget the stigma, too. Bed bugs happen to the best of people and have nothing to do with hygiene.
Is it possible that this whole infestation epidemic is being overblown?
Most of the researchers believe that this is an issue that's on the increase, that's going to get worse before it gets better.
Don't let the bed bugs bite ya.
On our website, you'll find more tips on how to spot